Good evening and welcome to Wisdom Walk Talk here on Black Hole Radio and my YouTube channel Wisdom Walk 2 Self Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojapa Maria Ensaroma. And September initiates the third and final chapter of the 2020 transit of drastic change. The first chapter, January through April, was the breaking down. The second chapter, May through August, was the breaking up. And this final chapter, September through December, is the breaking through, which will lead to the 2021 breaking away. As the final mineral month of the year, September brings divine opportunities for committing or recommitting to alignment with a higher purpose and to those who can support you with your inner renaissance. Yeah. Through four live broadcasts and accompanying videos, I'll provide wisdom and insights on the inner renaissance journey, continuing this week with the Big Breakup. But first, I just want to remind you that when I am broadcasting live, like right now, you can listen through your phone if you don't want to stay on your computer, or if you have problems with your internet connection. That number is 563-999-3089. Again, that's 563-999-3089. I will upload a video of this broadcast by Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest on my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk 2 Self Mastery. Now, you can ask questions or share comments on my Facebook page, Messenger of Wisdom Walk Radio, or on my website, which is www.wisdomwalk2selfmastery, or in the comment section below the YouTube video. But right now, I ask and thank you for being here and to just sit or lay back and join me for an exploration of the inner landscape where we can connect to our soul and discover the true treasure of being human. Yes. So here we are rounding into this next week of September. We just experienced memorial of September 11th. Such a day of great disaster, of great loss, as we are going through a time of great loss, and lots of scary stuff is happening right now because of COVID, and also for the fires out here in California. So it's a really challenging time. And so, as always, I want to open up my broadcast and video with calling on the ancestors, because boy, we need all the help that we can get. And I want to call out all the ancestors, and of course including the new ancestors, people who have died this year in 2020, because there's been so many of them. So think about your ancestors, people who you were connected to or who you knew. It could also be people you never met, but who you have an appreciation for, who inspire you. And of course, if you know of people who have died during from coronavirus, please include them. And so say out their names aloud. They really like that. And I'm going to invoke their presence and support for us. Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is. We thank you for your blessing and your mercy in our lives, and for yet another opportunity to open our minds, our hearts, and our spirits to your greater will. And Creator, we are so grateful for the presence and the energies of the ancestors, and we ask and thank you for giving us a way to reach out to them, to call out to them. So ancestors, hear our cries for help, for guidance, for wisdom, for love. You who can see in all directions at once, you for whom problems here are not problems there. Come be with us, hold our hands, hold our feet, be in our throats, be in our eyes, be in our hearts, and help us navigate through this most most just disastrous and yet auspicious time here on this planet. Give us the wisdom and the courage we need to do what is the right thing, and help us remember that love is the most important energy in the universe, and let us tap into that love energy and not the fear and the hate and the judgment and the depression. But let us stay in our faith, walk with hope, and trust your process for getting us to a new day. And Creator, I ask and thank you for all of this, including the blessing of the ancestors. In the name of all that is holy, I say amen. Ashe Ahoasa, Shinka Bismillah, and so it is. Ashe. Elemental wisdom for this week, and some more of the continuing saga of the astrological goings on this month. Like I told you in the last broadcast and video, it's pretty full. It's pretty full for September. But let's start elementally, because we're currently in a mineral week from the 9th through the 15th, and on the 16th, this Wednesday, we move into a water week. And here's the opportunity. It's about becoming peaceful, getting still, meditating, contemplating, so that you can reconcile any negative feelings by acknowledging them, feeling that pain, and cleansing it by focusing on what is positive in your life right now. Get yourself into or nearby flowing water and allow the purifying energy of the water element to free you from feelings of anger, resentment, judgment, fear, or anything else that is disruptive and distracting to the fulfillment of your annual commitments. God is breathing you. Call upon divine love to free your mind. And with all of the opportunities, we're always going to be tempted by distractions. And so here are a few to be on the lookout for as you are focusing on releasing any pain that would block you from fulfillment. So, number one, ignoring or sedating your pain. Yeah, it's just not going to work. And I know COVID and Black Lives Matter protests have brought up a lot of pain for people, but you know what? Trying to sedate it or ignore it, not going to work. So allow yourself to get the support you need to sit in your pain and release it, and utilize different methodologies that can help you transform that pain, as I just talked about, which is going and getting into water, letting the water energy be a releasing, calming, soothing energy for you. Another distraction, telling yourself that your problems can wait. Next, attempting to change someone as if that is going to solve the problem. Yeah, I've tried many times. Let me tell you, it just doesn't work. Blaming others for how you are choosing to feel about yourself. Big one. And last but not least, using anger, rage, or judgment to protect yourself from other people's pain. Yeah, really good one there too. So next week, Wednesday the 23rd, we'll move into a nature week, and that will be a time to trust this process. Yeah, and I will remind you all about that in the next broadcast. Another reminder that Tuesday, September the 22nd, will be Earth Day. And again, I encourage you to stay very mindful that you can make a difference by doing one little thing, like cutting down on your use of paper and or plastic, to really begin addressing this global warming effect. So I don't care at this point who created it or how. It's here, it's real. And so let's get busy focusing on what we can do personally and ultimately collectively to really save this planet from a disaster. So I asked you again to just stay mindful of the use of fossil fuel in your car. Try to use it only if it is essential. Only if it's essential. And again, please visit the Earth Day website, which I'm flashing on the screen, www.earthday.org, and go to today's action section so you can become more familiar with what is going on and how to make this planet habitable for the 7 generations coming after us. Great. And of course, I'll share the link in the description box below this video. Now, moving into the astrological forecast. Once again, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction energy is still at play, still at work. And definitely in September, those planets, again, show us that their energies are very much at play. So just to keep that in mind, again, I'll put a link down in the description box below. But it's just so that you know that all of this conflict and even confusion at times is part of a process to get us to a higher level of consciousness in terms of who we are as humans. Now, last week, a big aspect that happened was Mars retrograding in the sign of Aries. And just a reminder that although Mars is always about conflict and fighting and trying to win, and when it's retrograde, meaning that it's closer to the Earth, so we feel the aspects of those energies, we can transform those energies into really useful, beneficial, and generative ones by focusing and being determined and getting ourselves ready, set to go in order to take action into the new. So use that energy just to help you, stay focused, stay on task. Now, this week, it really was yesterday into today, we had Jupiter going direct. It's been retrograde since the 14th of May. And normally, Jupiter going direct is a time to start dancing because Jupiter is about expansion, right? Bigger things coming, opening up. And of course, it still means that, but because it is still in the sign of Capricorn and that it's conjunct with and aligning up with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, that means that it's going to expand, right? That energy that they have brought. So Jupiter will, though, expand our new awareness of COVID existence and the opportunities that can be aligned with new purpose. So where you may still be holding on to pre-COVID existence, this will be a time where you can learn very clearly that you have to let that go. And so Jupiter has come again just to expand that. By the time we get into December, that Jupiter expansion will feel a lot better because it'll be in a sign of Aquarius. Now, the other significant astrological aspect this week is that we're going to have a new moon in the sign of Virgo on the 17th. And this is a very, very good aspect because it's Virgo, it's a new moon, and again, that's a time for, okay, let me get a new beginning here. Let me get a new start, a fresh start. And it's considered one of the best new moons of the year because it trines Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn. So this new moon, it's pushing us to implement new structures or boundaries and plan for the long term. We're more inspired to move methodically and set intentions around our future success. So lots of hopeful, planning with the emerging future in mind kind of energy. Virgo is about the day-to-day details, and Capricorn has its sights set high. This is a potent new moon for business deals and setting our sights high. Just be conscious not to overpromise and under-deliver. That's a good message. So with this new moon, it's time to look for new ways of doing things, constructive new ways of doing things. And right now, we need Virgo's common sense more than ever. And so that message I took from both Astro Butterfly and from astrology.com's article about this week, and I will leave both of those links for you again in the description box below. But have a happy new moon, despite all of the other things that are going on right now. We need to, again, just keep our focus on the positive. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. So here's my overview for what I will speak about tonight in regards to our inner renaissance, your inner renaissance. I'm going to do a review of the inner renaissance journey. I'm going to talk about the big breakup by sharing a personal story and also a story of a friend. And then I'm going to share the contemplative questions. So my quotes for tonight, because again, I am drawing from both the European Renaissance and the Harlem Renaissance. And so I'm using Michelangelo and Alan Leroy Locke, who's credited with being the architect of the Harlem Renaissance. So here's what they say. The promises of the world are, for the most part, vain phantoms, and to confide in oneself and become something of worth and value is the best and safest course. Michelangelo. Next, all classes of people under social pressure are permeated with a common experience. They are emotionally welded as others cannot be. With them, even ordinary living has epic depth and lyric intensity, and this, their material handicap, is their spiritual advantage. And that's Alan Leroy Locke. Yes, yes, yes. So, Renaissance, of course, means rebirth. The European Renaissance came 1,000 years after the fall of the Roman Empire, and basically was a revival and a revealing of art, literature, science, architecture, new religious and political ideas, and most importantly, a zest for learning something new. And people like Michelangelo, Copernicus, Galileo, all those folks were involved. The Harlem Renaissance, it came 40 years after the end of slavery here in the United States, lasted from the 1910s to the 1930s, and it's rooted in a reconceptualizing of the Negro, as black people were called back then, to dispel and cancel out stereotypes that had been created by white folks, especially people from the South. And of course, that included people like Alan Leroy Locke, Zora Neale Hurston, Langston Hughes, and Louis Armstrong. So these Renaissance periods we've seen historically really give us an indication of how our universe works, how our evolutionary process works. It seems that when we go through very trying times, very tragic, just really unthinkably, horrific times, that out of that can come this rebirthing, a reflowering of human consciousness. And so we can then look at what we're in right now in regards to COVID, especially, and really begin to think about, okay, what if there's a renaissance? What if there's a renaissance coming? What if I can have an inner renaissance? And so your inner renaissance is a reawakening, a rebirthing of your authentic self through the unfettered expression of gifts, talents, and genius that you may have kept hidden or underutilized. It is a commitment to live your true purpose in life. Now, our inner renaissance journey, because we have to go on this journey to experience, right, that renaissance. Our inner renaissance journey is a journey towards self-actualization, self-mastery, and personal sovereignty. And this means that you are able to be in this world without making anyone or anything but yourself responsible for your joy, your happiness, your fulfillment in life, your happy endings in life, as I often talk about. Your inner renaissance journey is going to get you to not being a victim and to believe that there is treasure in the trauma that you've come through, and that the world is out to gift you rather than get you. As a result of your inner Renaissance journey, you're not afraid to use and share your gifts, talents, and genius, because you are clear that you can and that you want to contribute to the wellness and happiness of others and yourself. Yeah. So the big breakup. Last week I talked about the big breakdown, right? When things just get stopped because of whatever has come along to do that. And so COVID did that for all of us. We had a big breakdown. And so the breaking up of things has been going on. So for us, on a personal level, on an internal level, this is the emotional, spiritual, and energetic letting go, releasing of relationships, environments, situations, beliefs, ideas, and thoughts that are limiting, that prevent you from experiencing your personal renaissance. Yeah. So we experience the breakup to become clear about who, what, where, when, and how we are to now become the best version of ourselves and to live even more purposefully and experience even more fulfillment and happy endings in life. So again, there is purpose in all of this breaking up, because this stuff is painful. It is just painful. There's no other way to say it, think about it. It's just painful. So let me share some quick story, personal story from me, and then from a dear friend of mine. So my big breakup came back in 2014 when a financial rug gets pulled out from under me. And it's interesting because I knew it was coming. It wasn't like it was a surprise. I knew it was coming, but I was still quite shocked by it. And it really turned my life upside down. But let me tell you, I knew for 3 years before that happened that the situation I was in, the living environment I was in, was not enough. And so I couldn't understand why, though, because I felt I had made it. I felt I'd reached nirvana. I am in the perfect place, doing the perfect work. I have all my needs met. I'm good. I am so good. This is it. This is my life. I'm happy. But I still had this feeling inside like there's something more. And so I would tell myself, you're so ungrateful. Look what God has given you. And why are you not happy with it? Why are you thinking there can be something more? Shame on you. And I really would do that to myself. I would try to talk myself out of this pull to my personal renaissance. Thank goodness that there is a greater order and direction that knows best, because I had no choice but to have my breakdown and my breaking up. And my breaking up was that I did have to leave a living environment I thought I would be in for the rest of my life, which was Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And interesting that it took me about maybe about a good 9 months before I got, less than that, about a good 6 months before I got to the new environment that was going to really be my rebirthing place, which is out here in the American Southwest. But in the journey after I left Milwaukee, it was very interesting. I got to be in Cincinnati, Ohio for a couple of months. And during that time, I got reconnected to playing the piano. And I had wanted to be a concert pianist. It was something so deep in my heart. And when I didn't get into music school for college, I was devastated. And so I began to just think of myself as, it's just something I like to do and I'm good at it, but let me just put that dream away. It'll never happen. And so I lost my commitment to becoming the best piano player I could be, and just was not playing piano, didn't have an instrument, the whole thing. And so during this time, I get reconnected with playing the piano in a very marvelous way, a magical kind of way. And it really rebirthed something inside of me. It woke something up in me, and it really became a guiding light for me on the journey, which I still feel like I'm on. But it becomes this way to really help me keep moving forward and keep expecting that I will have what it is that I need to really keep taking care of and sharing my gifts and talents, like all of them, like no more hiding things in the closet. Because when I came out and told people that, I'm a concert pianist, I'm a classical pianist, a lot of people were like, wow, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, because obviously I didn't know it enough either. And so in that way, even though there were parts of my journey that have been scary, like I just don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm going to live, what's going to be, how am I going to eat and sleep, all of that, right? All the survival stuff. But having had that Renaissance moment of reconnecting with something deep in my heart and giving it permission to live again has made all the difference, So again, that breakup I had in terms of my living situation, which along with that comes, right, relationships, routines of how you were doing things and all of that, that all got broken up. But in its place, I have been able to really rebirth myself and become more able to really share and live more of the truth of who I am. And so this friend of mine, also from Milwaukee, had an experience where she just went on vacation. Like, I'm just going to go on vacation, Well, she got on vacation and she looked around her and decided, I need to be here. She didn't go back home. She stayed. And in that process of her staying, many things had to get broken up. And in conversation with her, I asked her, I said, so what was the big breakup for you? What do you think happened that, that you can look back and say, yeah, this was a big breakup? And part of that was about how she was seeing herself, how she was relating to her family, how she thought she had to relate to her family in order for them to love her. And also to just breaking up how she, again, was relating to herself in terms of what she could have in her life. Yeah. And it's opened her up to really, allow herself to have more of what she needs in order to feel healthy, to feel well, and to share that with others in terms of her work. And so I share all of that with you to say that, this breaking up process, it's so essential. And for those of you who, because of COVID or even because of the fires in California, have lost places of living, lost your job, lost relationships, whatever has been breaking up for you, please know that there is great purpose in it and that you can open yourself up to learning what that is and to have a focus on the fact that you're in a Renaissance period. Yeah. So here's my contemplative questions for you this week. Number 1, what is a big breakup that you've experienced this year or since March 2020? Next, what have you outgrown? Meaning, in what area or areas of your life were you uncomfortable and unfulfilled? Yeah. And number 3, what would support you right now in this breaking up process so that you do not try to go back to what can no longer support your personal renaissance? Yeah. And as always, I will put this personal challenge in the description box below this YouTube video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for all notifications. And for that, I thank you very, very much. Okay. I'm going to close out tonight, as always, by first thanking my wonderful engineer, Miss Yvette Parker, and the entire Black Hole Radio Be Well family for their continued support of my platform to be able to present this to you on a weekly basis. I am so grateful. Blessings, blessings, blessings. I want to shout out happy birthday to you, to Ms. Carmen Ray, a dear friend of mine, a great connector of people, a fabulous entrepreneur and promoter of entrepreneurs. And this is a wonderful, wonderful day for her to experience herself as being reborn and rebirthed and renaissanced for this new year that is coming. So Carmen, if you're listening, please know how much I love you and so grateful for you in my life, and many, many, many blessings to you on this wonderful, wonderful day, which I know you're enjoying because you don't fool around. To my regular listeners out there, shout out to you, and to my #1 fan, Ms. Sarah, whose big breakup sent her to Greece, where she fell in love with herself. Yes, yes, yes. And to all of you who have Wisdom Walk with me, and you know who you are, to my family, my spiritual kin, my transformational leadership colleagues, my medicine brothers and sisters all around the globe, and those who may be watching or listening for the first time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I couldn't do this without you as an audience. Now, next week I will continue the inner renaissance journey with the big breakthrough. Yes. The book, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery, Ancient Wisdom for Transforming Pain, available at Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, through Kindle, and other online booksellers. God willing, I will have an audio version of it out by the end of the spring. I was thinking the end of this year, but I'm thinking I better be realistic. I think it's going to be the end of the spring of 2021. Anyway, I'm working on it. And last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides, my loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. Now, please have a healthy and safe water week. Continue to wear your mask. They've got some really funky, cute ones out there too that you can find. Yeah, it's really cool. Practice social distancing, safe relating. Avoid perceived safety and embrace science safety. And do remember, most importantly of all, that you are not disposable. You are divine. Good night now.